In this video, we will show you how to replace your headlamp assemblies on this Kia Forte Koup. These will be mounted along the front of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, it's best to start from underneath the front, so let's safely raise and support. As we make our way under the front bumper cover, along each side, we're going to find that we have 3 push clips to remove. To remove your push clips, generally you can just use a trim tool or pretty much any small prying device. Remove the center, and then remove the outer portion as well. Once you have this dislodged, the next thing we need to do is make our way up inside here so we can gain access along the back side of our fog lamp assembly. Now along the back side of the fog lamp assembly is where you're going to find your fog lamp bulb and the wiring harness. We have to disconnect the wiring harness from the bulb. To do that, you want to squeeze on the 2 locking tabs, dislodge it, a quick inspection for corrosion. We'll set the wiring harness aside. At this point, we need to repeat this entire process along the other side of the front bumper cover. Once you've completed that, we'll make our way up inside the front wheel well to remove a mounting screw. Following your bumper cover up to where it meets the fender, in this corner area here, you're going to find a Phillips head screw on each side of the front bumper cover. Once you have removed the screw, take hold of the front bumper cover, hold onto the fender, and lightly tug it apart, separating this area. Repeat the process on the other side of the vehicle and we'll meet in the engine compartment. Now that we have both sides separated along the front area of your engine compartment, you're going to find that you have 4 push clips holding your front grille. Your front grille is attached to the bumper cover, so as we remove these, keep in mind these are the last things holding everything in place here. I'm going to use my knee to hold the bumper cover against the vehicle while I continue. With all those out of there, let's go ahead and remove the bumper cover from the vehicle. With the front bumper cover out of place, you can start removing your headlamp assemblies. The process for one is the exact same thing as the other. Typically when you do them as a pair. To continue from here, we're going to dislodge the 2 10mm headed mounting bolts across the top of the headlamp assembly, holding it in place. At this point, you should be able to take hold of the headlamp assembly. We'll give it a little wiggle and slide it out of place, but keep in mind there is a wiring harness along the back side. To disconnect this electrical connector, right along the top where my index finger is, there's a squeezable tab. That's the locking tab. Go ahead and squeeze that in, disconnect the electrical connector. A quick inspection for corrosion, and we'll set that wiring harness aside. There it is, friend. Typically, people are going to want to transfer over or replace the headlamp bulbs in their lamp assembly. If you're transferring them over, go ahead and remove the bulbs from the original headlamp assembly. We'll have a look from the back side here. You're going to find 3 ports. To get to any of the bulbs, you want to remove the protective covers. We'll just turn these. There we go. Behind that area, you're going to find an electrical connector that leads to the bulb. Go ahead and take hold of that, and we can pop that out of place. A quick inspection for corrosion of each of these. Inspect that bulb as well. The bulb is held in place with a small wire, which makes its way around, and is held in place on a small hook inside this area. We'll dislodge that. Just press it in. Slide that hook tab out of the way. Remove the bulb. Once you have the bulb out of place, if you are planning on reusing it, you want to make sure you give it a close inspection. Never touch the glass, of course, but you do want to give it a quick look. After your inspection, you can go ahead and set that aside and continue down the line. For the headlamp bulb, we're just going to take hold of this, turn it counterclockwise. A quick inspection of that bulb, set it aside. We'll make our way to the corner bulb here. A quick twist. For this one, you can remove the bulb. Once again, a quick inspection. There it is, friend. Let's prepare our headlamp assembly for installation. Starting along the back side. Along the back of the headlamp assembly, we're going to reinstall bulbs here. You can start on either end. Remove your cap. Once you have that cap removed, the next thing we'll do is continue on with our high beam bulb, assuming we're starting with the inboard side there. We want to take this and get it in position. It really only fits one way. If it doesn't fit the way you're trying, just go ahead and spin it around. Once you have that in position, we'll continue on with the wire metal clip here. Just go ahead and press it in and hook it into the lock position. This can take a couple tries sometimes. Once you feel as though you have it in position, take hold of the back side of the bulb and try to give it a little wiggle. If it moves around, it's going to move around while you're driving down the road. Go ahead and make sure that it's situated securely. Continuing from there, we have our wiring harness. We're just going to press that directly on the back side of the bulb. A light tug, make sure it's properly secured. It's okay if it moves around a little bit, but you don't want it to fall out of there. Protect the area with your cover. Once you have that locked in, we'll continue down the line. The middle port is for your headlamp bulb. For this, we're just going to take it and rotate it into position. It does have those two little tabs along the bottom here. That's for the electrical current to make its way through, and it will align with the bottom area. We'll press it in like that, rotate it clockwise to lock it in. Those tabs should have pushed into this corresponding area, making great contact. Double check to make sure it's properly secure. Install your protective cover, of course. Now we're down at the far end. We'll install our bulb. Give it a little twist to lock it in, a light wiggle. Secure it to the headlamp assembly. One last thing along the back side of the headlamp assembly, we're going to talk about the adjustment port. To make the adjustment of your beam of your headlamp, you want to make your way right along this area, and you can either turn this clockwise or counterclockwise to raise or lower the beam as needed. You can do this using a Phillips head screwdriver straight down along the top, through this port here, and then up against the teeth that you can see on the adjuster itself. Let's get this over to the vehicle. Let's start aligning our headlamp assembly into the vehicle. Just carefully start pressing it in. Along the bottom, you're going to want to gently start pressing. You should feel it want to latch in. We'll give it a light tug. Align the two upper mounting bolt holes and start in those mounting bolts. Just move this around as necessary. Try to get everything properly aligned. Now, before you tighten any of this, you just want to double check to make sure you're aligned with the fender as necessary. This looks good. Use our 10mm here, snug these up. Let's make our way along the back side of the headlamp assembly. There's a couple things here. We'll re-secure our wiring harness. The locking tab facing up, press it in. Listen for a click, we'll give it a light tug. Now let's look just below that. This is where the adjustment is that I showed you on the bench. Use your Phillips head screwdriver if necessary, and as I mentioned, this is where you'll either turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust the beam in the final process. We've installed one of the headlamp assemblies. The process is the exact same thing on the other side of the vehicle. Once you've completed that, it's time to reinstall the bumper cover. Let's get our bumper cover in place. We'll start sliding this in, paying attention along the center area. We'll lightly press this in. Install all 4 of your push clips across the center. That'll hold things in place as we continue making our way towards each side. Now let's start bringing this into position along the bottom of the headlamp assembly. As we make our way towards the fender, we're going to align this as well and press it in. Pause on this side of the vehicle, do the exact same thing on the other. Once you've done that, we'll make our way into the wheel well. Along each corner of the bumper cover, we're going to install our Phillips head screw. Just start that in and snug it up. Make sure that's properly secured. Do the same exact thing on the other side of the vehicle. Then we'll make our way under the front bumper cover. Now it's time to re-secure the wiring harness here for each one of the fog lamps. We'll press it in, make sure it's secured in place properly. Let's install our plastic panel. Bring this area up and over the bumper cover, swing it in. When installing your plastic push pins, you want to have them in the unlocked position, press them up and through, and lock them in with the centers. We'll continue on down the line. A quick confirmation that everything's properly secured along the bottom corner here. Repeat the exact same process on the other side of the vehicle. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our front headlamp assembly. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and test the functionality and align it properly. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
Now we're going to get the vehicle ready to aim the headlights. Start with the tire pressure, making sure all 4 tires are set at the appropriate pressure. Remove any excessive weight that's not normally in the vehicle. Find a wall that you can drive up to where the ground is level. Measure 25 feet away from that wall and mark the ground. Drive your vehicle up to that mark. With the headlights off, look for the center dot in the headlight lens. Measure from the ground to that center dot. You can use a ruler to help you out. Transferring that measurement to the wall, making a mark with some tape. On the driver's side, measure down 4 inches, putting another piece of tape. For the passenger side, you only need to measure down 2 inches. Now turning the headlights on, it is easier to do this at night or in a dark area. Locating your headlight adjuster and using a Phillips head screwdriver, turn your adjuster one way or another to bring the headlight up or down. Once the headlight is adjusted to the tape mark on the wall, move on to the next headlight. If you're confused because the beams seem to blend together, you can always have someone stand in front of the other headlight while you make your adjustments for that one. Now your headlights are aligned and you're all set to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.